Business, a person's occupation, profession, or trade. Connection, a relationship in which a person or idea is linked or associated with something else. Welcome to Business Connection. Each week, our program will offer inspiration to navigate the business world. Information you can use to succeed in any field. And we will help you focus on your goals. Join us now for Business Connection with your host, B.C. Clark.
Well, hello, this is B.C. Clark, your host of the Business Connection. As you know, I interview business owners across the state, some in-state, out-state. Whatever, my two guests today are ladies from the Omaha Cares organization. I'll let them both introduce themselves, but ladies, thank you so much for being here today.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Good. So why don't you tell me who you are, and we'll go from there. We'll go to the next person.
Thank you,
Yeah.
BC. My name is Deb Shaw. I am the co-founder of Omaha Cares Mentoring Organization. Super excited to be here and looking forward to sharing more about Omaha Cares.
And I'm Reverend Portia Cavitt, pastor of Clare Memorial United Methodist Church and co-founder of Omaha Cares Mentoring Movement.
Well, I have to tell you, I've heard so much about Omaha Cares, and I think just made sense for me to have you guys come in and talk about the organization so that other people can know about it as well. And as it's being shown to the community, they can jump on board, donate, and do the things that the organization needs.
Definitely.
So why don't you guys tell me, when did this get started?
Actually, 2021 is when we launched Omaha Cares.
Okay.
Omaha Cares is part of National Cares, which was started as a result of Katrina
Okay.
in New Orleans, when the
Oh, I didn't know
founder
that. Okay.
of National Cares, Susan Taylor, saw the need, and the need came out of children needing to have health care, mentoring, educational
Okay.
opportunities. And here's the caveat.
Right.
Wanted to have people who look like the kids to help the kids. And so when we heard about this, we go, we've got to be a part of it. So we started under a different platform. And so last year we pivoted because we were able to grow up in Omaha Cares mentoring movement. We branched out, got our own EIN, 501c status, and now we are doing things on our own.
Awesome.
So it's a group of women coming together to work with young kids to promote leadership skills, to look at financial vitality, and also health initiatives.
Yeah.
And so as we broaden our horizon with our brand, we want to be more inclusive and looking at how we can help African American families.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was a no-brainer for me, and especially during the pandemic, trying to meet the needs of our kids. And at that time, most of them were still at home, and we were doing things through technology that our kids were losing that personal contact with mentors. And so we did not stop. Deb Shaw and I, we just took it a little bit further and wanted to make sure that we were reaching as many young people as we could and making sure that they were healthy, not only physically, but also mentally.
Yes. And, you know, just thinking about the pandemic and how many kids missed the prom. And I mean, it was so sad to me. You know, it was so sad. And the thing is that I don't think anyone was caring about it, but you guys probably. You know what I mean? Because the community was kind of shook, right?
Well, all of us were shook.
Everybody was shook, yes.
But we know that our youngest and most vulnerable still needed someone to talk to, someone to encourage them, someone to allow them to know that this will pass, that you can overcome this. And yes, they were missing a lot, but then they had us to talk to. We were trying to meet their every need and to encourage their parents along the way.
And that's so important because the whole family it's just in flux. And so it was good to have, you know, at least there was a lot of people that were helping, but an organization that understood the needs. And sometimes, you know, there are organizations that will do, but they don't really understand the actual need.
That's the key.
Yeah,
That's the
and so
point.
that to me made probably a world of difference in our community. You know, to have people
Absolutely.
that looked like them that were there helping them.
Right.
You know, and especially mentally, because during that time, a lot of the kids were having mental issues that they never had before. You know, because of being in, not getting out, they
Right.
couldn't be with their friends. It was hard.
And not to
You know, and
communicate
not to communicate.
personally with
Yes.
a human being. Just to work on your gadget was one thing, but to learn
Learn.
your talking skills, your
Yes.
communication skills, and things of that nature. And so
Yeah.
we just wanted to make sure that we were doing our part
Yeah.
during that time and even
And
now.
even
As
now.
these are the kids that were graduating. They started their high school years in the pandemic,
I
and
know.
then they got to graduate and walk across the
Yeah.
stage. Those that did not get to walk
I
across the
know.
stage are graduating from college. And so
Mm-hmm.
kudos to all
All
of
of them.
them and
Yeah, mine.
the
Yeah.
things that they had to overcome.
I know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my grandkids were part of that, watching school on TV. I mean, and
Right.
it was very hard for them. You know, I know my daughter was like, you know, I don't know how to keep them focused.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It was
There are
just a
so
really
many
hard
skills
time.
that they lost. It was almost like starting over
Yeah.
when they went back to school in person.
Most of
They
them.
had to make up. And so
Yeah.
how did we bridge that gap?
Yeah.
And so with Omaha Cares, one of the focuses when we looked at the mentoring component of what we're wanting to do, we needed to have culturally
Yeah.
uh, individuals who can connect immediately with the kids as they try to get back on track. When we look at the stats about how our kids are behind in reading, it is, frightening
Yeah.
that we have kids who are not on track with their reading. And we all know reading is fundamental. So how
Yeah.
do we mitigate that? So we need to find ways of how do we bring all of these organizations together and say, how can we work collectively? And what we want to do with Omaha Cares is be a resource or be that linchpin between these organizations and the community that they serve and say, there are some people who look like our kids who are willing to be
Right.
volunteers, who are willing to step in and help.
Right.
Let us come together and work. And that's what Omaha Cares, we want to be the leader in this sector when we talk about how do we help our kids and what does that look like?
Yeah.
And oftentimes, because I'm coming from the mentoring organization, and oftentimes I've heard a group say, well, we can't find anyone of color, or we can't find anyone,
I
to
know, it's
network
just
with the
getting-
kids. And
Right.
I'm like, where are you looking?
Yeah. Exactly.
Where are you looking? Because
Yeah.
we're here.
Yeah.
And there are all kinds of groups that are willing to step up. And we've got the Divine Nine. That's a great presence in Omaha. So leverage that
Yeah.
as you're working in your organizations. Recognize we're here.
Yeah.
Right, but then also not only the Divine Nine, but I'm happy to say that the Interdenominational Ministry Alliance,
Yes.
IMA, that the preachers also stepped up. And under then Superintendent Logan contacted me and wanted to do a program for second and third grade boys at one of our elementary school, low performing schools. And I was able to get some of the preachers to go in and do group mentoring. And she secured books. And so the kids got 100 books. They got to make a bookcase and paint the bookcase. And it gave the preachers something to do.
Yeah.
On the flip side, for the fifth grade girls at Wakanda Elementary, I had the program Lady. And Lady is loving, affirming, discerning yourself. And so I would meet with them and bring in women that looked like them, professional women, career women, that would talk about their careers, and the girls got an opportunity to tell me what they were interested in.
Yes.
I went out, put a call out to find that. That's mentoring, and some
That
people
is.
don't realize you might not be able to do it every week for
No.
an hour, but in group mentoring, you can come when you can
yeah.
and share and present, because the girls don't get to see someone who looks like them in the fields that
Yeah.
they want to know more about. And so that's what we've been able to do during this time. And for during COVID,
Yeah.
I wasn't able to go in, but a minute the schools opened back up,
You went in.
I
Yeah,
was
to
in
go
and sharing. These last 2 years, the girls really benefited because of the women that stepped up to come and to share.
Then to share. Well, I think that's important too. So the call should be out to anyone that wants to, especially women of color, what have you, that really want to be in there to kind of guide these girls.
Absolutely.
We have a program with the Metro Omaha Women's Business Center called YEG. It's the Young Entrepreneur Girls.
Okay.
It's an 11-week program, and we do the 11-week program during the school season, starting in October, and then in July we have a summer camp like for 2 weeks. Usually girls 12 to 18, but the mentoring part, we can do with the elementary kids.
Absolutely.
So we teach them personal development, professional development, but we also bring in a lot of business stuff to show them, give them an idea of what they might want to do later on. And we also have activities for them, and then have women that are in particular industries come in and talk to them about what they do. And so on the 11-week program, they get to go in for 2 hours in different businesses owned by women to just kind of understand that business. And so like the last couple of years, we've had like low attendance, and I thought we need to get it out to the schools.
You just hit on a key point that Omaha Cares want to be that contact. Who knows about that information? Where can they find out about that information? We want to be able to say, go to Omaha Cares website.
I know.
Go to our website. If you're looking for something for your young women, young men to do. Just yesterday, I was in a meeting where they're bringing back raw dogs. I don't know if you heard that program. It's geared toward young men. Who knows about this? Who knows that they're bringing that back? And so we want to be a part of pushing out that information and letting the broader community and families know about that.
That's so important. Someone has to be that catalyst. And if people know and see Omaha Cares, what has its own ring, that there are people in Omaha who care.
We can definitely partner on that, because we can put the link on your website. And Absolutely. And for the mentoring, the women would love to go in.
We want to be able to gather that information and have it available. And the great thing about it, so what Pastor Cavitt talks about with the elementary, we also have a cohort group that we started 2 years ago with North Omaha, with North High. And we had all African American young women in this group that we met once a month. But we had African American women from Alpha Kappa Alpha. We had from the Deltas, from the National Council of Negro Women. We all came together because collaboration is so important.
You
one
can't
group
make it without
do it all.
No one on the island
goes together to
anywhere.
encourage these young ladies. We talked about Black history. We had a doctor come in and talk to them. We had the Omaha Star presented to them, which they didn't even know about the historical information about the Omaha Star. Still my goal to get those young ladies on the front page of the Omaha Star. That's still important. But we also, then we looked at a middle school. So we went to King Science and worked with those middle school girls. And so what we like about what we offer with Omaha Cares, if the little kids aren't your cup of tea, but the middle, if you like a challenge, come with me to the middle school. Or you want those young women who are getting ready to take that next step in high school, we are offering those opportunities for our volunteers, but we're also looking for how can we bring in information such as what you just mentioned. But we're also sharing with our young people about scholarship opportunities that are out there in the community that maybe they don't know about because they're not involved with different community groups.
And it's true. A lot of those parents don't know. And how do you get that message to them? Because we were talking about this just probably a couple of weeks ago, and just stated like, we have a program where we can fund this 2-week program, and I don't think we have it for girls.
And so that's heartbreaking.
It's very heartbreaking.
It is.
That's why we have to begin to collaborate, but also share. And recognizing that flyers is not how people get the information.
No, we have to get in front of people, in front of organizations. We have to let them know what's happening. And normally I'm out into social media. And so we do put a lot of stuff out on social media, but we go to a lot of events as well.
Absolutely.
We go to a lot, there's different chambers other than the Omaha Chamber. So we go to the Omaha Chamber. I go to Ralston Chamber. I go to the Nebraska Hispanic Chamber. There's a breakfast that happens the first Friday of every month called the Omaha empowerment breakfast.
Okay.
There's 85 to 90 businesses that are there, all types, all sizes, all
But then
kinds.
how many parents, because now
And parents-
children are raising themselves
Yes.
and they are saying they don't want to do, but if we can get in front of the parents and say this will be a program, won't you please sign your child up?
Yes.
Because they still have to give permission.
They do have
for
to give
their
permission.
children to
Absolutely.
When we
participate.
first started YEG, we started in the park.
Okay.
And what we did was we had noticed that there's families that go to the park. So we went, and it was on a Saturday, and we did talk to different
Right.
groups of parents that were there, gave them a flyer to tell them about the organization. And that year we had a lot of people we had over 20
Absolutely.
girls that signed up. So I was telling the group, I said, we'll probably have to go back to the park.
And
Sometimes you have to go back and you have to go where the
go
people
You
are.
gotta interact
where
with
they
people,
are.
right?
Yeah.
You have to go to
Yeah.
where they are. But there's also such a thing as, how do we get family engagement? You know, we talk about
I know,
the
because they drop
holistic
them off.
approach.
I'm gonna tell you, they drop the kids off and
Yeah,
ride
but
on.
how do you get that family engagement? And we've got to find what's that nugget. And it used to be food, but now
It
it's not
used to
so
be
much.
food, not so much.
Food doesn't bring the food. So
No.
we've got to find out what are the needs in various communities. And I think one of the things that we need to tap into is these neighborhood associations and find out
yes.
what's happening in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And make those connections so then we can share look at what's happening outside of your neighborhood and what opportunities that will be of value to your neighborhood, because people are looking for that with them, what's in it for me.
And I think
How do we leverage that?
right, and I think also we did something new this year is that we also offer scholarships to Metro Community College, UNO, unconventional students.
Yes.
And so when
good.
we're pouring into them, then they will also want us to pour into that next generation.
Absolutely.
And so we're just trying to make sure that we're reaching everyone that we can.
Yeah. So I think that a really good thing that we could do is have a summit. I mean, I say that because I think that if we can do a social media summit
Yeah.
where we start talking about all the different groups, you know, Omaha Cares, the Metro Omaha Women
Right.
YEG program,
Right.
you know, the Ross, we have a 10-week program for women.
Yep.
It's from startup to launch.
Okay.
It's 10 weeks. We just finished our first one. I mean, you know,
We've got to
we-
get
we-
the information
yes.
out there.
Yeah.
And one of my dream, and
we have
I know they
websites with all this
right.
information on
My
it.
dream is for Omaha Cares to host this something like what you're
Yeah.
talking about, but get all the players in the room.
Yeah.
And like the mentoring organizations, the other resources, the events that you are having that deals with the business. And then we need to tap into the companies. When we talk about we want good talent to stay here in Omaha, well,
right.
these businesses need
need
to
to jump
invest
in. Yep.
and know what we're doing, because they can literally grow their own new employees
Yes.
by being
thing.
mentors,
Right.
by connecting to the communities. And they're saying, oh, there's no diversity and there's not a lot of options. Once again, I say, where you're looking. Are you advertising in the Omaha Star, putting your postings out there?
No.
Are you getting information
They're
to
not
our
doing what
local
they should be
churches,
doing.
our faith-based entities? That's
Yeah.
where we are. Recognize where we are. Are you supporting Juneteenth? Like, you know, are you supporting, what was the other, Cinco de Mayo?
Yeah.
Are you supporting these neighborhoods where we're vibrant and we have talent? You look at, I was just super excited when I heard on the news how Josh Gibson is now the GOAT of baseball because they're now putting in the Negro League
League, yeah.
Right.
players. Well, how long did that take? And where is Josh Gibson from? Isn't he from
Omaha, isn't it?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Or Bob Gibson.
Oh yeah, is it
Bob.
Yeah, Bob
I
Gibson.
thought that's what
Josh.
she was talking about.
Right,
He's
but,
from
thank you.
Omaha.
but there was a Josh in the Negro League.
Right,
Oh, it was?
right.
Oh,
That was a
okay.
long
Bob
time
Gibson.
ago, but
Yeah,
Bob
Bob
Gibson.
Bob Gibson,
Right.
yeah.
Nobody
See, I'm
recognize my
I'm a
post.
baseball.
Thank you. But I know it was a Gibson. But I'm just saying, recognize the talent
Yeah.
that we have here and cultivate it. And that's what Omaha Cares want to do.
Be a part
Why
of
are we losing our our talent? Why are they leaving Omaha? We need to find
They're
that
not
out.
offering them- right,
Because there
right.
are good jobs here, and
I
there are
know,
good
I
They
know.
don't feel a
opportunities
part.
here.
That's so true.
Right.
My granddaughter is in Missouri. That's where she goes to school.
Right.
She's now has an apartment there. This is her third
She
year in
doesn't want to
college.
come back.
No, and so I'm like, but I mean, I don't know.
Right.
And that's what we have to begin to instill in our young
Yeah.
people. And if we don't start now, the
It's-
younger they are as they grow up, that they will see the value and helping them to start their business as well as
Yes.
giving back, that they will see that this community needs them
Right.
to do the work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we want to be a part of is the voter registration, to get out to vote, and to educate our
And go to
population.
the-
Civic
go to the-
engagement is so
Yeah,
important.
it is, and basically going to the nursing homes and things like that, so that people that can't get out have them doing mail-in.
Right.
And someone told me, oh, we're already doing that, but a lot of the people told me, no
one talked
has,
to them.
no one
No,
talked to them.
no.
And so even in our community, the tower, no one's going in there and
Right.
signing them up for mail-in.
Right. At
Right.
one point they were, but then hopefully we are educating people that they would know the importance of their vote
Yeah.
and not waiting on a day. I know our foreparents would go and wanted to vote on that day, but now times are changing.
They have.
You can vote early. You never know what's going to happen
You never
after
know.
Absolutely.
election
Yeah,
day.
absolutely.
We
But to
always
know
vote
that you
early.
have cast your vote and that you
Absolutely.
made your voice
That's right.
known.
Heard.
And so there
Exactly.
is so much more that we can
I
do.
think there
And
should be
we
a
are the
canvas
change.
where we can.
We are the
Absolutely.
change
Yeah,
agents
absolutely.
now.
No, I agree.
So as we make these personal connections and develop these relationships with these young people,
Yeah.
the other thing that we want to put in their mind is the right to vote and how important that is,
Yeah.
and to do your homework about
your homework about each candidate.
before you go to the polls. Know who you're voting for, know what you're voting for. So
Know
how
what
do
they
you do
stand
that?
for.
Right. How do you do that? Because I think about these young people. I look at my girls when they're getting ready to do something. They go out there and Google or TikTok and they do their homework about before they're going to use this restaurant or stay at this. Well, you need to be doing that for when you're getting ready to
ready to
vote.
vote.
Do your homework because you have the skill and ability to do that.
Yeah.
And the information is out there. So we just
Yeah.
need to share how important. So being that advocate for civic engagement and working with the organizations like the League of Women Voters and Civic Nebraska.
Right.
Yeah.
There are groups out there that we can partner with to help us. We don't have to do all the groundwork.
No.
Let's pull in once again those
Yeah, there's people
collaborations.
already that have the
Yeah.
groundwork done.
So we want to
can
be
just do
touch
that.
points for all of those topics. When we talk about Omaha Cares, we care about our community, we care about our youth, we
Yeah.
care about our families. So how do we work together to help?
To make that
Right.
happen. Yeah,
Yep.
I agree. So I think that my charge would be out to all the corporate business owners out there to really look inside.
Yep.
Instead of saying, oh, well, we went to Atlanta, Georgia because, they have the talent. But what about the talent right here in Omaha?
Right.
What about the talent of those parents that are working at your business
Yep.
right here in Omaha?
And to cultivate your
and to,
own.
and to
You've
cultivate your own.
got
I
to.
mean, that's what OPPD was doing. They were taking 11th graders, and I think that program is still going on. And they're putting them into a program at OPPD. They're training them, and so when they graduate high school, they actually come out with a job.
Absolutely.
While they go to college, they have a job.
And they have
and then
to
once
be
they graduate
inclusive
college,
of all kids, and you
Yes.
just can't. Even if you pick one school, you've got to
Mm-hmm.
share and make that information
Available.
but also readable,
Right.
something that parents will look at,
Yeah.
and to also speak in
front
to
of
the young people,
Yes.
but someone that looks like them, so that they can say, "Oh yeah,
Can make
I
that
want to
connection.
share this with mom or dad. Oh, mama,
yeah.
I would love to be a part of this."
they have to
program."
be
Yeah.
intentional about who they send in to speak.
Absolutely. And representation
Because that's really important. It
is
is.
so important.
And even if you send both, white
And
and
I
black,
think it's
it needs
going to be important for us on
demand
open
that.
house, on school night or family night at the schools
to
that
be a
we're
present.
working in to continue to talk. I did that with OPS when they moved sixth grade to middle school,
Yeah.
and I worked at Nathan Hale every day. I was present during those open houses. Got a lot of parents that I was able to talk
Talk
to,
to,
and
yeah.
we had the ladies and gents program there, so it was the ladies loving affirming, discerning yourself,
Yeah.
genuinely engaging new truths and solutions. And so that was one way that I sought to help in Nathan Hale with
Yeah.
that transition with elementary and secondary school working together. That we built those partnerships. We can still continue to carry those on. What
Absolutely.
we've done in the past
Absolutely.
can be built upon and move in the future
Yes.
as we move to address the needs of our young people.
Yeah,
today.
and putting more push behind it, more people, so that people can see the numbers. You know what I
Absolutely,
mean? I
absolutely.
think that's really
And
important.
to show that we care.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I think these organizations coming together, standing together,
Yes.
and saying
Yeah.
what we want to see happen in our community is really important.
Together we can
and it's
make a
not
change.
just one organization, it's all of us coming
all of
together.
us. Everybody
and showing
bring
the
their own
community.
part.
Absolutely.
You know, what I found when Pastor Portia and I were partnered together with Omaha Cares, the beauty and the blessing of that partnership, that she walks the talk.
Yeah.
You're already
That's important.
doing what we're trying to put a label on.
Yeah.
Right.
Pastor Portia was already doing
doing
it.
it, yeah.
I said, well, let's call it Omaha Cares.
Yeah.
Let me bring you in.
I don't care what we call it as long as we
do the
doing
work.
it.
The work
I'm
is being
about
done.
doing.
I
You
know.
got to
Right.
do the work.
And that's the reason why I
That's
said,
what it-
we're already doing these things.
Yeah.
We had the
We have
luxury.
about a minute and something left, but I want to
Okay.
get just what's our next step? What's our next step?
Let's connect.
Let's connect. Yes.
Contact Omaha Cares.
Okay.
What's our
we,
email?
we have a social media presence right now with,
Okay.
on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
And Lord willing, by the end of this month, our website will be up. But we're
Okay.
Omaha Cares Mentoring Movement at gmail.com.
Okay.
But you can find us Omaha Cares 321 on Instagram, Omaha Cares Mentoring Movement on Facebook. But if you can't find us, you can find Pastor P or you can find Deb Shaw.
You
We
know
can
how to
everywhere.
connect
find us.
you.
Yeah, you
Right,
know how
right.
Give me
to
a phone number
contact
that
us.
if somebody said, how can I call? Give me a phone number.
402-290-1528. You can call, text. I'm retired.
Yeah. She is
Well,
available, but
yes,
you
she is
can
available.
always connect.
Yes.
Right,
So,
right.
and that's the charge for the community. Let's connect. Let's get what
Yeah.
our community needs, and especially our children, so that we can make things happen for them, so they don't have to leave. That they can stay right here, get the high salary and the things that they need to take care of their families.
That
Omaha
show that
Cares,
we care.
to show that
Omaha
we care.
Cares. Thank
I
you.
love you guys for being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate
Omaha
it.
Cares. That's who it is. Right here at KPAO. Thank you all for joining us today, and we'll see you soon.